we go. There we go. All right, let's start over. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Healing Space with Gently Healing. I am Jen Tilley, and man, I am super excited to be here with all of you guys today. I want to say hello to Willow and to Sammy. Gosh, it's so exciting to see you guys in here every week. I am so grateful for this journey and that I've gotten an opportunity to get to know so many of you so far, and it's just been such a cool journey. I also want to take a moment and thank Robert Howley, who put that music together at the start of this video, which I still just I love and adore, and I'm just grateful that I have like a variety of different ones I can choose from and give us an awesome space where we can come together and just kind of breathe and take a moment, and oh man, it is really awesome. And yeah, it is good to see you, and hello. And man, I want to say hello also to any new viewers that are out there. I was very surprised to see how many people have started to view this podcast, and I want to say welcome and I'm grateful that you're here, and I love you and I care about you. And a big part to all of this is just learning how to heal ourselves, and I love to share what I've learned so far and what I have done to learn to heal myself, what I've studied and what I've seen, and to gather more information for all of us. I got a silly person on the other side of the screen right now. I love play and laughter. It is so awesome and so worth it. Man, I've had such a week where I say this, I think, every time, because it's like there's so much that happens in a week. It's like mind-blowing. I feel like almost like a different person every time I come. And I don't know how it is for you guys, but man, it's just like incredible to see what we can cram pack into that space. And the big like theme for me, oh, Uncle Vix, hello, it's nice to see you in here. Hi, yay. It's awesome, yay. But a big one that I've been looking at a lot is conflict resolution. You know, I just started to reflect a lot on this. I've looked at it in the past a lot, and I think that it's a very important subject and topic to look at. It's not something that we're taught in schools, though they do teach it in college now. I just don't think, like, when we're growing up, we're taught how to really resolve conflict and what that looks like and means. And we end up having, you know, a lot of different broken relationships that we're suffering with, and not finding the resolution and healing that space, and that begins with us. And so it's been very fascinating to do that work and dig deeply and really learn what it means to listen to what my partner is saying or my friends are saying, and be able to have open and honest dialogue, and just to be able to, you know, the reality is that we're all imperfect beings. And so when you get into a relationship, you have two imperfect people striving to have a perfect relationship, and that just isn't a reality. And so the truth is that it is learning to find the space and compassion to working and resolving issues with one another in the spot where they're at right now, and learning how to transcend ourselves and learn how to enact different behaviors, and just like holding on to the things that happened to us in our past revert us like back to what we were psychologically at that space. It hinders us from being the best versions of ourselves now. Okay, thank you. Awesome. Okay. So I've just been really digging very deeply on what it is to be able to have solid relationships with those that are in my life, to be able to show up as the best version of myself. And something that I found very much through the digging of conflict resolution is the selfishness of how, for one, I go, or many of us out there, but I speak for myself, is that I take a lot of information and I go, okay, yes, but how does this apply to me? And I don't know how many of you out there are like that, but I think a lot of us are. And so all of a sudden, I'm not hearing or giving compassion and care to the space for the other person when I am constantly turning it back onto self. I noticed that I did this behavior, like the selfishness, I looked at a lot when I was healing, like different aspects of habitual behaviors that I had. But really, I just lost my train of thought for one moment, is that digging on myself and looking for, oh gosh, that's so weird. I was like on a stream. Maybe it will come back to me. Conflict resolution. Digging, looking at my past, looking at things to heal about myself. It's so funny how that works sometimes. All right, well, mostly it's how am I showing up for the selfishness. Yeah, just the deep levels of selfishness. But I also looked at it where had I not had a certain semblance of self when I went about my learning, for example, when I learned about quantum physics and they were talking about the double slit experiment and how you can take a particle and, I don't know, so funny when I go to explain. I don't know how many of you know about the double slit experiment, but anything is possible. And when you actually perceive the particle, it ends up, why am I struggling in explaining this right now? Oh, so weird. Anyway, so let me just go to the fact that when I learned about the double slit experiment, that anything was possible if I just put my mind to it, when I focused on it. And that's what led me, like when I'm like, well, how does this apply to me? I'm seeing this like quantum, like science experiment going on. And I kept going, how does this though apply to me? And it got me to the point where if every cell has consciousness, as every one of these particles ends up having consciousness, what is like the consciousness, for example, in this moment, was the consciousness of my fat cells. and I started to think about it. And I started to go, well, I've always said if you stuff your issues, they go into your tissues. And next thing I led to is that the fat just had to really essentially be stored trauma. And once I applied that to my life, next thing I know, I lost 70 pounds with this like massive epiphany. So I think when we go about certain things, when we're learning, like I have seen the mechanic of turning information around onto self, but I'm talking when it comes to conflict resolution and the person that is in front of you, nurturing the relationships that are in front of you, is honoring the experience as being anew and fresh. I just had this thought of like Terrence McKenna. He was talking about going down like the river in like the middle of the jungle in places where no one really had ever been except for like maybe some indigenous people. And so now they're seeing things for the very first time that they've never even seen photographs of. And what he noticed was people would go, oh gosh, that tree right there reminds me of a tree that I saw back over in Wisconsin or wherever, it reminded me of. And that like took away from the reality of the experience of now and the newness and the novelty that we get to have in our lives. If we're always constantly holding ourselves in a position and saying that reminds me of. And I find myself in certain dialogues where I will have with like a significant other, and I will end up sharing a story that is similar to but not the same. And it's like in the conversation I recognize that I want to have like relation and connection in the conversation, but I'm not honoring the other person. And to me it is very, very important to be able to figure out what it is to have a healthy dynamic of a relationship, to be able to have that with myself first so that I can have that with someone else. I can't hear you and I can't show up for you if I'm not hearing myself and I'm not showing up for myself. And so it has been really, really cool to just constantly do this digging and this work and show what it is to like, conflict is going to present itself several times a day, like all the time. That's just how it works. And so what are you doing within that space to resolve that conflict? And man, I can look at so many different avenues of ways that I have gone about it. A lot of them, a lot of unhealthy choices, building a lot of levels and years of habituation, that now I'm learning to break that pattern. And that like also leads me where it makes me think, well, this full moon that's coming up on Tuesday is all about transcending and letting go of these past things that are hindering us from starting new beginnings. And I think that so many of us, and what I've seen with my clients, what I've seen in my reality, are having a lot of suffering with the relationships that are in our immediate realities. And that just speaks to where we are at right now with ourselves. And as I talk about your higher self, like being your higher self, and in order to be that higher self, you are your higher self now at any moment. But it's literally like an employment. You hire yourself and you have to do certain actions. You must break the habituations in order to keep the employment of your higher self within this vessel. If not, you don't have room for it. You only have room for what you were doing before. So for me, it's very important on a regular basis and important. I want to learn to do this. I think when there's importance put on it, that's another thing I've been looking at, is that it just has a negativity to it. Like, I must do this. And if I must do this, that's adding in like a roadblock from me being able to just flow with my life. And when there is a roadblock, that adds in insecurities. I've never done this before. And the fact is, if we're going to affect changes, it's going to be uncomfortable. You've just not ever been that way before. This is new. So you have to get uncomfortable to get comfortable. And it's important to understand that. And so when you're standing in that uncomfortability, it's just like the rabbit showing up yesterday for me in my life. And the rabbit speaks to fear. You could either feed it with fear because it's uncomfortable and unknown, and then the ears go up like the rabbit and you're on high alert. Or you can be that fertile rabbit and decide to make effective changes, navigate your reality and fertilize your reality with what you want, a higher transcending behavior. And again, this comes back in the ways to do it is to stop giving your past the power. Stop freezing yourself in your past. And not just also looking at the future. I mean, be able to see right now. I had something that was pretty sobering for me. I didn't know if I was going to talk about it, but okay. Awareness is crucial. I learned this from studying martial arts. I've learned this from studying deeply the Feldenkrais method, which Moshe Feldenkrais, he was brilliant, and he brought that concept of awareness. And once you have awareness, that's half of the battle. And in that space, you can make changes. And so when you bring like awareness, well, it's how you navigate now. It's how you see now. So not just doing like meditative experience spaces where you learn to be aware of your thoughts in your mind, that also includes your body. So I have things where I will do things too quickly. And I once you're doing things quickly, you're kind of multitasking and you're losing the fact that I'm about to sit on a chair that my friend's phone is on, and I didn't notice that. And there are these little actions and behaviors that actually, like, my friend doesn't want me to sit on his phone. I could potentially break it. A lot of things could happen. Some might call that an accident. It's not an accident. It's not being aware of your reality of what's happening now. And this is why that mind, body, and spirit connecting, like doing yogic practices of stretching. And I don't mean just like structured, like go to a yoga class. Listen to your body. Move. It will tell you, I need to bend over and touch my hands to the ground to release this energy. I need to bend back backwards. I need to go this way and that way. Listen to yourself. And that is bringing the full embodiment of awareness. I enjoy doing yoga classes. I enjoy having the connection with other people in yoga classes. And I understand in my postures that only I am the one that can hold that position. But at the same time, like when you wake up in the morning, connecting with yourself and not somebody else's program of saying, bend this way, do that way. Listen to what your body is saying and where that energy is trapped inside of there. So again, awareness is huge. And do I want to share this story? I don't think it's necessary because, again, it's like a traumatic thing that something happened, like one of those worst case scenarios where you lose a moment. Like, I don't know the full story, but, it ended up with somebody's life by just not paying attention. And so I know when I see people that are close to me in my life, that they're bringing me a gift as well. Even if it's through the hardest and most painful things. You see, if we don't get the lessons, it will become painful and it will hurt. And I used to say, like the way I learn is through the hurty way. I always called it the hurty way. And I don't want to learn the hurty way anymore. And I don't want you guys to have to learn the hurty way anymore. I don't want it to cost you things that would lessen your experience in this life, just as I don't want to have that for myself. But you see, this takes the work. This takes the discipline. This takes a continuous, from the moment you wake up, bringing awareness to your reality all the time. Am I aware? Am I aware? And this is that programming. And it becomes easier when you start flowing with it and when you can find ways to have fun with it. That's why it was fun to learn about the Feldenkrais method and play with my body in different ways and learning and giving my mind problems to solve. Instead of my mind going and finding problems with Susie Q over here because I'm not working on the fact that my mind needs to solve problems because we want to solve problems in this life, guys. That's why they're being created. But we need solutions and that solution mindset. And that's why I was talking about that conflict resolution. And I highly recommend taking some time, guys. There's some great YouTube videos out there on just loading up yourself with learning the different skills. Here we'll talk about some of those skills and making sure that you understand that it's not the blame game. It's nobody else but you. And it's never anybody else but you. And I am so stoked and so grateful to be here with you guys. And this is just like the pouring in of information of what has come to me this week and what I'm working on. And I'm doing lots of specific focused meditations. And I don't believe that you just have to sit there. Like, I love doing the meditations with you guys and doing these seated meditations, and I think that's wonderful. But meditation's also a mediation of your life. All the time. You're the mediator. You're the governor. You're the one that is the decider of the right and wrong. And in order to liberate yourself, well, there's a lot of transcending behaviors and bringing awareness and making effective changes and not making assumptions. Man, not making assumptions, I think, goes hand in hand with that. I like the saying, man, assumptions makes an ass out of you and me. And when you have more and more awareness, you can have more and more awareness of the assumptions that you're making. We have to assume some things in this life, but how much are we assuming in order to create our prismatic illusion of our reality that everything's okay when it's not? And it's not if you're not here in your present moment, if you're not hearing the people that you love that are closest to you, there's going to be conflict with your people that are closest to you. You're not the same people and you're not learning the same lessons, but at the same time, they might have learned this lesson. And this is another thing that I loved. They're blind spots. We all have blind spots that means we're blind and we're not seeing it. And if you have a gift of somebody in your life that is helping shine lights on those blind spots, and having the willingness to be able to hear that from our partners and not be defensive about it. And the way not to be defensive about that is to be right with yourself and not be defensive of self. It's being humble and showing humility and not pride and not being in your ego. So that's what I was thinking this week. I've had I've had quite an awesome week with all of that. I see there was a couple comments I want to take just a moment, and I've been listening to your podcast so far. Only 2 I've been able to listen. You do a great job. Oh gosh, thank you, Uncle Vince. Man, I really appreciate it. I saw you put the one of the podcasts up on Instagram, and it was such a surprise. Like, I had no idea, and I just want to say thank you for doing that and sharing that, and welcome to this space, man. Welcome. And Willow, yeah, intuitive yoga. And Robert, hello. I'm glad that you're here. We played the first video you ever did at the start of this show. And man, it was really, really awesome. And Sammy says, interesting stuff, Jen. Thank you as always for sharing your thoughts. Oh man, it's my pleasure. I love doing this podcast. I look forward to it. And yeah, it's been really, really rad. And I'm glad that I stepped outside of my comfort zone and chose to do that. I just feel there's just something very magical for me within this space. And it just holds me to a different level of accountability. And I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for each one of you that show up. And again, if there's new people coming in at this point, because like I said, there was like over 100 viewers this last week on this last video alone. And man, welcome. I'm grateful you're here, and I love you and I care about you. Please like and share this video so that more people can come and hang out, and we can talk about ways of healing ourselves. Things that I love to talk about is definitely like the healing with animal medicine, bringing awareness. There's lots of things. And then the full moon especially coming up, and thinking about the things that we want to let go of, especially with this episode, what we want to let go of that is hindering us from creating those new beginnings. Man, the animal medicine I've been getting, like this morning I woke up and I walked out and there was a big web across, like from my kitchen counter to the sofa area, and from an orb weaver. And this orb weaver has been hanging out for probably a couple weeks now. It made a web outside the door and like on the awning and all these different places. But this morning, that orb weaver spider's like, no, I'm going into that house, and it made a web. And so he's been hanging out in here. It's been cool. So I have a new pet for a little bit. I haven't named him. We'll just call him like the orb weaver spider. It's nothing creative, but he is definitely a creator. She's a creator, and man, it's cool to have that. I have had a lot of grasshopper animal totems and messages coming in, and this shedding of the exoskeleton. I have gotten 4 exoskeletons, and I've never even seen a grasshopper shed its skin, and I've seen 4 of them. Well, seen 3 and found like 1 extra exoskeleton that I didn't see. It's just been really rad. So it's the same. Like for this full moon, it's shedding that exoskeleton, you guys, that hardened shell. It's ready to get off. And we're all cramped into that space. So with this meditation, I want to do that. I want to draw the animal medicine cards. Let's like see where we're at this week. Let's see what's kind of like foreshadowing, and do a draw where we'll do the why am I spacing out? What's helping us, where we're at now, and what's hindering us. Oh, wow, you've had a lot of owls around again. Oh, that's rad, Sammy. Ooh, that's some big, good medicine coming into your reality. Cool. I have not had any owl medicine for a little bit. Oftentimes we have very similar medicines, but cool. I love that. I just met a Sid Yogi Baba. Oh, and holy cow, I'm shitting pants right now. Wait, I just met a Sit Yogi Baba. Holy, I don't know, I don't know totally what that means, Uncle Vix, but I know a little. No, I don't know what that means, but I think that maybe that's very sweet. Whatever that was. Lots of crows and moss around me this week. Cool, guys. Man, that is awesome. I just met. I said, "Holy cow." Were you talking that towards me, Uncle Vix? I'm still thinking about it. I'm like, sometimes when I read something, I don't understand it. I'm still like spinning it in my wheels. So, wow, Willow, that's awesome. Crows, you're navigating those voids, and the moth, the void again. You got a lot of void messages. He was kind of, oh, yes, Sid Yogi Baba. Siddhi Yoga, yeah. I know what you're talking about now. What? He doesn't eat. Really? See, I've talked about this. No. Oh. This is sometimes when it's like on the stream. He was kind of incredible, and he doesn't eat. If he doesn't eat, this is something where I've hypothesized that I'm not sure that we actually need food in order to survive, but we have a belief really surrounding that. I met this guy in the temple near me. Oh, whoa. So maybe, are you out and about right now and you just ended up meeting him? I mean, that's amazing. Sorry. Wow. Cool. Well, that sounds like a really awesome experience. Thank you for sharing that. That is awesome. So now we have that forever recorded that you had this awesome meeting. And, okay. So, holy sexy mamacitas. Hello, Patty. Continue with your thing. I'm really sorry. No, you're fine. This is what he said here. I'm still working on also with the distractions, but at the same time, I really love having the connection with you guys, and I appreciate the comments and whether I can keep up or not. Well, that's I'm going to learn that more as we go along, and don't ever be sorry. Please share your comments, and I'm grateful again that we're all here and that we're talking and sharing stuff like our experience and our realities right now. Oh, cool. All right, cool. So we'll see you on the YouTube here in a little bit. Cool. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to pull some animal cards, and we're going to do what's helping us this week, where we're at right now, and what is hindering us. So let's begin this draw. This is the first one. Boop. It's the armadillo. It's kind of weird the way I flipped that to you guys. So that it's upside down. Okay. And where are we now? Boop. Ooh, the swan. That is a very good one. Very, very awesome. And then what is hindering us? Right here. Oh my gosh, you guys, we got a blank one again. Just like last week. But last week we had the blank one and there's the void, Willow. You know, we got the void card for what is hindering us. That anything is possible in our creations. So that is that's some interesting medicine so far. Okay, so let's start out with the armadillo, which is 28. And again, this was in reverse. So the poem for the armadillo is, armadillo, armor all my boundaries, teach me my shields, reflect all the hurt, so I will not yield. Yeah. And again, the armadillo is boundaries. Not again, I didn't say it. So boundaries is what the armadillo is. And man, I that was another thing for this week too, is learning what those boundaries are. So go ahead, roll up and hide. This sarcastically is the message of reversed armadillo. You may think the only way to win in your present situation is to hide or to pretend that you are armor-coated and invincible. But this is not the way to grow. It is better to open up and find the value and strength of your vulnerability. You will experience something wonderful if you do. What a great message. Vulnerability is the key to enjoying the gifts of physical life and allowing yourself to feel. A myriad of expressions are made available. For instance, a true compliment is an admiration flow of energy. If you are afraid of being hurt and are hiding from feeling anything, you will never feel the joy of admiration from others. The key is in allowing Armadillo to help you to stop hiding and to use Armadillo's armor to deflect negative energies. In this way, you are able to accept or reject any feeling, action, or energy flow without having to hide from it. The underside of Armadillo is soft, but its armor will protect the softness of the boundaries are in place. Hiding from your true feelings and fearing failure or rejection will amplify your need for cast iron protection. You have the power to rid yourself of these doubts and to touch the deepest part of beingness. You will know you are doing the right thing, whether it is communicating or painting or surfing. The creation belongs to you. The only real rejection is in not trying to break out of the armor you have used to protect yourself. Is the armor now becoming a jail and your fears the jailer? Wow. So that is a big, awesome, man. Yeah, I really resonate with that Armadillo medicine. I'm not sure for you guys, but there's I look at the going into my shell. I kind of talked about that, I think, last week on the show. It's like that astrology side is that double cancer for me. So like going inside the shell, man, Armadillo definitely speaks to that for me. So let's go to what is where we are at now, which is the swan, and that is grace. Swan, the power of woman, entering sacred space, touching future yet to come, bringing eternal grace. Little Swan flew through the dreamtime looking for the future. She rested for a moment in the coolness of the pond, looking for a way to find the entry point of the future. This was a moment of confusion for Swan, as she knew that she had happened into the dreamtime by accident. This was her first flight alone, and she was a bit concerned by the dreamtime landscape. As Swan looked high above Sacred Mountain, she saw the biggest swirling black hole she had ever seen. Dragonfly came flying by, and Swan stopped him to ask about the black hole. Oh, dude, this is really interesting. And I say that because I keep seeing the card of the blank card and the just like the void and the hole. And anyway, Dragonfly said, Swan, that is the doorway to other planes of imagination. I have been guardian of the illusion for many, many moons. If you want to enter there, you would have to ask permission and earn the right. Swan was not too sure that she wanted to enter the black hole. She asked Dragonfly what was necessary for her to earn entry. Dragonfly replied, you must be willing to accept whatever the future holds as it is presented, without trying to change Great Spirit's plan. Swan looked at her ugly little duckling body and then answered, I will be happy to abide by Great Spirit's plan. I won't fight for the currents of the black hole. I will surrender to the flow of the spiral and trust what I am shown. Dragonfly was very happy with Swan's answer and began to spin the magic to break the pond's illusion. Suddenly, Swan was engulfed by a whirlpool in the center of the pond. Swan reappeared many days later, but now she was graceful and white and long-necked. Dragonfly was stunned. Swan, what happened to you? He explained. Swan smiled and said, Dragonfly, I learned to surrender my body to the power of Great Spirit and was taken to where the future lives. I saw many wonders high on Sacred Mountain, and because of my faith and my acceptance, I have been changed. I have learned to accept the state of grace. Dragonfly was very happy by Swan. Swan told Dragonfly many of the wonders beyond the illusion. Through her healing and her acceptance of the state of grace, she was given the right to enter the dreamtime. So it is that we learn to surrender to the grace of the rhythm of the universe and slip from our physical bodies into the dream time. Swan medicine teaches us to be at one with all planes of consciousness and to trust in Great Spirit's protection. If you pulled Swan, it ushers in a time of altered states of awareness and of development of your intuitive abilities. Swan medicine people have the ability to see the future, to surrender to the power of Great Spirit, and to accept the healing and transformation of their lives. The Swan card is telling you to accept your ability to know what lies ahead. If you are resisting your self-transformation, relax. It will be easier if you go with the flow. Stop denying that you know who is calling when the phone rings. Pay attention to your hunches and your gut knowledge, and honor your female intuitive side. It's like balancing that feminine, man. You have the divine masculine and divine feminine, and what a great animal totem to be bringing in. And honestly, I feel very much, I like that. Man, what a great message for our week. And what is hindering us? It's in our own creations, guys. And having that willingness. So with today's meditation, let's bring in the armadillo and break down our armors and become vulnerable. And see ourselves in that vulnerability and allow the grace of the swan to flow in into our realities for this coming week. And we can tap in with the full moon and tap our energies to the moon and what we're creating for this week and what we're willing to let go of. So on that note, wow, love the swan medicine. It's exactly what I need to hear. Yep. Right. See, we're all connected. I love the entanglement. I love it. And spot on as usual. Yeah. See, we're all connected in such awesome ways. So, if you're not already in a seated position or in a place to start meditation, if you could find a quiet spot to go now. And again, if you haven't drank any water, I highly recommend getting water into your system. I just spilled a bit. Good. And we'll start. Go ahead and close your eyes. And come in to focus on your breathing. Take a breath in through your nose and out through your nose. And if you're finding breathing in through your nose to be a little challenging, imagine that you have wires coming out of your feet and connect those wires to the earth. And with your breath, breathe in and root, sloughing off any dense energy blocking the flow. Exhalate it out. Exhale. And then breathe again. Breathe in through your nose and out through your nose. And when you breathe in through your nose, imagine bright crystalline light flowing down through your crown and into your belly. Breathe it down through your third eye and down your throat. Breathe the crystalline light into your belly. And exhale out any dense energy into the earth. Now breathe in the crystalline light and breathe out the crystalline light. And breathe it out to your realities, out into your auric fields, and back into your vessel. And let that go. And draw attention to a point above your head. And draw a triangle. And then take the corners of that triangle and connect it below your feet. And then slightly above that, below your feet. Draw another triangle. And connect the points of those triangles above your head. So now you're inside of a three-dimensional Merkaba, or a three-dimensional Star of David. This is your safe space. Only love can reside within this space. So, in the corner, I put a box with a very heavy lid. Walk over to that box now and open up that lid. And inside this box, place in anything that is hindering you from bringing in positive energy. Take off any anger and place it inside the box. Take off any malice. Take off any jealousy and place it inside the box. Take off any confusion or anxiety and place it there too. And take off your meat suit and come be with your light being. Take off your vessel and put it inside the box. And again, you can come back and get it whenever you want. And when you're done taking off any of those things that are hindering you, look one more time and see if there's anything else you're ready to let go of. And place all of that inside that box before you shut that lid tight. Very good. And when you're ready, come back and sit in your Merkaba. Sit inside this space you've created, that only love is spoken here. And breathe in the crystalline light through your nose and out through your nose. And now, above your head is the bright light of the full moon. The moon that is coming and building in its power to help you on the journey of transformation and building the happiest and joyous versions of your life, the happiest and joyous versions of you with its beautiful feminine energy. And take the wires that are connected from the top of your head. Do you see them, the wires? They look like the strands of your DNA, like a helix, your helix. And connect them to the moon. And breathe in the light of the moon down through your crown. And breathe it in down through your third eye, and down through your throat and into your heart. Your heart where you're the receiver. Very good. Very good. And now in this space, kind of by the moon, do you see the swan flying in? The swan who is coming to show you where you are now. Swan, the power of woman, entering sacred space, touching future yet to come, bringing eternal grace. And see the beauty of the swan circling around the void, the space where nothing and everything exists. And connect more of your wires, your DNA, to the heart of this swan. And breathe her in with grace. Breathe her down. Down through your crown. Down through your third eye. Down through your throat. And breathe her in that space where you speak with grace and transcend this space. I love you. I speak with love. And breathe her down into your heart where you are the receiver to hear how to enact with grace. Thank you for being here. Thank you, and I love you. I love you. And now, let's bring in the armadillo to teach us about boundaries. Do you see the armadillo above, crawling into the space? With its awesome armor, can turn itself into a ball. But it's open and it's vulnerable coming into this space. And take more of your wires from your crown and connect it to the heart of this armadillo. Thank you for being here. Thank you for coming. And connect it and breathe it in and breathe it down. Armadillo, armor all my boundaries. Teach me my shields. Reflect all the hurt, so I will not yield. And breathe the armadillo down into your heart. And here you are, the receiver, to hear how you set your boundaries. Thank you, armadillo, for coming to show me how and how to help. And now within this space, we play. Silence your mind and hear what the intuition has to say. Breathe in crystalline light and out crystalline light. so beautiful. You are so awesome. And you are so loved. And you are so graceful. And you have awareness. And you have strength. And you have joy. And you have happiness. And you have an innate ability to create a dynamic future for yourself. A dynamic and beautiful now. You are your higher self. You are love. And you are a badass and have the ability to navigate any situation that comes your way. Look at you, taking care of yourself like this, shining lights and bringing guidance of the next indicated step of creating a world that you want. A universe comprised of love and coherence. And breathe in the crystalline light. Breathe in the love. And exhale it out as far as you can imagine with your mind. Out into the universe. Out beyond the farthest galaxies. And breathe it back into you. All of the love you call back to yourself. And you send it out and in. Out and in. Very good. And now take a moment with yourself and see the box again that's inside of your space. And as a reminder, if there's anything you would like to bring back to your reality when you open your eyes, you may go get it now if you haven't already. And place your right hand over your heart and your left hand over that. And circle the love. You are a giver and you are the receiver. You are unified with all things in all places, in all dimensions, in all realities. You are all things and you are no thing. Love. And I love you. And I'm grateful for you being here and sharing in this space. Breathe in one last time. And take your arms and wrap them around yourself before you open your eyes. That breath of love, the breath of joy, the breath of happiness. And I too am going to hug myself as I imagine hugging you. And when you're ready, open your eyes. Hold tight though. I'm hugging and I'm hugging you and I'm hugging myself in a universal group hug with every single one of you that is here. It's one of the largest group hugs that's ever existed. I want to welcome anyone here that has meditated with us for the very first time. We're happy you're here, and I'm happy you're here. And I'm grateful. I'm grateful you chose to take a moment to spend time with yourself and to meditate. You're awesome, and you're worth it. Hugs are awesome, and so are you guys. And just like Doug said here, hi Doug, I'm so glad you made it. This is always awesome. I agree. I agree. I'm grateful for all of you guys. I'm grateful for sharing this space with you. I could go on and probably say so many gratitudes, but thank you for listening. Please like and share this video. Share the love, share the experience, and we can continue to raise the consciousness of this world and create a happier and better place with more coherence and more perceived love. And you're awesome. I will so look forward to seeing you again back in here next week. And yeah, like and subscribe, man. I'm here. If you need anything, please reach out. I have new courses that I've just come out with. So if you want more information on what it is to heal yourself, please reach out. You are not alone. We've been journeying together, though we've been apart, but we are together. And there's a reason that we were drawn together. We're magnets, man. And thank you. I love you. Have a wonderful night. Please join Zach and Aaron's show at 8 o'clock. And I will see you next time. Yes, my pleasure. I love you guys. Love you. Bye.